speaker for this evening. We are very, very pleased to be able to introduce Bob Lindo. When ex-RAF pilot Bob Lindo and his wife Annie planted their first 8,000 vines in 1989, they never dreamed of the phenomenal success they would achieve within 2 decades. They had bought their farm in the heart of the Cornish countryside several years earlier, seeking a change from service life, and it was the perfect place to bring up their young family, and initially they farmed sheep and cattle. Now, several awards later, Camel Valley has achieved international success, and this year beat Bollinger, amongst others, to be named the world's best sparkling wine producer. Very great pleasure to welcome Mr. Bob Lindo.
We won a lot of trophies, and I don't quite know why we do, really. I don't, honestly. The only thing I think that we do, which I think is applicable to everybody's business, is that every single thing that we do as best as we can, and we make fewer mistakes doing it than anybody else. That's all it can be, because there's nothing special that we have that other people don't have. There's no special secret that we add an elixir every time or whatever, but we do keep winning stuff. And I think it's just that. You know, my son is second generation winemaker. He grew up at the Vineyard. He went to Bath University, went out to Singapore, taught for a year, and halfway through I'd been the victim of a business link business plan, which unfortunately had worked, and so the business had mushroomed while he'd been away. And so I said to him, look, no pressure on you, we're calm, but if this is going to continue, you need to take part in it, because this is too big for us for the next 10 or 20 years. And tweeting is fantastic. I think it's brilliant. I prefer it to Facebook because you're not talking to anybody in particular. I can't do Facebook because when you talk, somebody answers who you know. I can't do that. With Twitter, when you talk, you're talking to everybody and nobody. And only people who want to listen will follow you. Terra Madre was the World Conference of Food in Turin in 2006, and there were 5,500 food communities represented, and I had the honour of representing Cornwall food producers, or leading Cornwall food producers there. And you have lunch next to a Maasai warrior and things like that. You know, it's a really fantastic occasion, and a lot of things grew out of that in Cornwall. A lot of, you know, this is networking. If you can imagine the scale of that, it was absolutely fantastic. Thank you. BBC Mistresses, amazing. Did anybody watch that? It was our equivalent of Friends, and lots of 30-somethings, week in, week out. The only wine they ever drank was Camel Valley. Every single episode was Camel Valley. We took all the pictures off the telly and they lined the wall of the winery. So Fortnum's, I think, is the best example of how our business works at all levels. A chap turned up on a motorbike in leathers. And anybody who sells wine at a winery or a vineyard will tell you that is not the most promising customer. There's nowhere to put the wine, and then to compound this arrival, instead of parking in the car park, in front of the actual shop, and then got off, kicked the bike and walked in. And so I'd like to try the wines. Well, you know he's not going to buy anything. So, but polite, you know, whoever was working in the shop, trying all the wines. Thank you very much, on the motorbike left. 3 days later, phone call, I'm the chap in the leathers. Okay, yes, remember you. I want your wine for my wedding. Brilliant, that's nice. We like people to have it for weddings. And so we supply the wedding. At the wedding guest, Tim French, wine buyer for Fortnum's. This is lovely wine. Where does it come from? Little Vineyard in Cornwall. We're now the only own label Fortnum wines, sparkling wine in their history that's not from Champagne. We've done that for 4 years now. And now the whole range has got Fortnum's own label on in Fortnum's as well.
Seriously, thank you for sharing your experiences, your expert business advice, and in what context was a fascinating story. Thank you very much. And thank you to the audience for your questions and contributions.